Hello, it's Ileana and I'm on a roll. I have another process video for you using lots of hand-painted materials. And the one I'm showing you there on top, which is kind of greyish and glittery, actually was hand-painted by my son Elias, who is featured in the picture as a baby. But he did this more recently and I was really quite keen to get some of his artwork on a layout, and I thought what better a layout than one that includes him. And the other piece, which is Chevron, is my attempt at kind of getting some inspiration from the Amy Tangerine collection, because I was working on that one for the Fun Kits challenges for the month that we were working through Amy Tangerine, and I didn't have any 12 by 12 papers of her collection, so I made one of my own in the kind of style of her own Chevron piece, because I did have the 6 by 6 pad, so I was able to copy that out. And actually I did that on my silhouette, which drew all the lines, and then I just painted in the well, not squares, the rhombuses, what are they called? Parallelograms. And it was getting really tedious, so actually the top of it's white and the bottom of it's all painted in. And anyway, my layout is getting ahead of me now, so I'm going to explain roughly what I'm doing. This is a vellum piece which I, of course, try to rough the edges of, and then now I'm framing it with lots of different pieces of vellum. This happens to be one of my favourite, I said vellum but I meant washi tape, and the one that's by MT, and got lots of little silvery flecks through it and greens and teals, as well as I'm now using some quite cheapy glitter washi, but that does the job here. And this one I would have bought quite recently to making that layout, and I was quite keen to get use of, is a little green washi tape, and I can't remember the manufacturer for that, but it's got little flecks of green in it. Anyway, I kind of wanted to surround the whole vellum piece there with lots of different textures of washi to add the interest, since I wasn't going to be using pattern paper particularly. So I'm just going around that there. But I know that it's only going to be peeking out the edges. So the idea of this layout was just to use a really old photograph that I had kicking around. This was such a gorgeous picture of my husband with a newborn Elias, taken by a friend of mine, Kay Graham, who still does photography, and she's amazing actually, and she came around to our house when Elias was just a couple of days old and took loads of lovely pictures, and I just found those the other day as I was clearing out prior to this picture, to this layout I should say, and decided to scrap it straight away. And now I'm just going around the edges with the kind of light green flecked washi tape to give the whole layout a really gentle border. This acetate piece is from the Amy Tangerine collection, the Rise and Shine, and I just decided to use a kind of whole batch of tags as a background piece. I think this might be my first cut into that piece there. I can't really remember if I'd used a piece already, because I know I have used tags in other layouts. I just can't remember whether this was my first cut or not, but it doesn't really matter, because that was the idea I decided to go with on this one, was to use all of the tags together and then use those as a layering piece on top of Elias's artwork. And he doesn't do much art, so this was really special. He did a few pieces. I think I'd cut through some really cheap kind of watercolor paper and let him just go to town. So this was him smearing kind of pots of paint all over it, and then I think I went round it. Yeah, I did. I tried to go around it with some crackle paint to soften the edges, and I really regretted having done that. But then I found a solution and got that, not tissue, but kind of like silk flecky kind of paper that I'd already used in another layout just previously, one that I'd called Z's at Bed Z. And anyway, I had the offcuts to that, so I decided to just piece those together around the top and the two edges, and then I didn't use any on the bottom because I'd already pre-ripped the page, and I kind of like that ripped look, so I just wiped off the glue there. I'm going to be keeping that edge open But I'm really glad with my remedy there, because I hated the way that I felt that I'd really spoilt Elias's artwork, because he'd kind of pushed his fingers and decided where the edges should be, and then I kind of felt like I'd come in and decided, no, actually I'm going to soften the edges, and I did. Anyway, I like I say, I remedied it in a way that I find pleasing because it's with paper, but I didn't like that I'd come in so heftily with my own paints there. So in the end, I'm really pleased with that whole effect. It's yeah, it looks nice to me. And I've stuck it down with glossy accents because that's what I like to do with plastic. I've kind of gone with, I think, 3 glues on this layout altogether, and probably some other kinds of adhesive as well. I interchange them according to the materials that I'm sticking down, as I'm sure everybody does, really. And so back to sticking it all down on my chevron piece, layering it all up now, and to kind of add to the dimension and texture, some of it I'll just glue down, and this was with kind of PVA to secure some of the pieces of washi back down that had rolled up. And this is the dimensional foam tape that's just going to give that whole piece a bit of pop against the background. And then I'm going to be using a bit of ephemera finally once I've stuck the picture down. And the hearts down the edge I'm about to layer on, you can just see there. I'm going to fast forward a little bit anyway. They basically form my journaling, and I think they're from a company called Pretty Little Studio, and they came in a quirky kit, and I thought, oh, it just came with so many hearts with so many sentiments. I just thought I'd slap a whole load down here, and I really quite like them. And it says, magic moment, hooray, life, super big hug, hold me always. And that's the journaling. And then I'm using an Amy Tangerine piece from her, I think it might have been called Bits or something. Anyway, these tags that came in a little kind of booklet, and I'm just going to use those for the bottom right corner to just add a bit of layering as one does. And again, a bit more silver washi tape there just to kind of add to the texture. Now I must say these colours are just amongst my favourite. I love teals and blues, and ironically, though they're very cold colours, I really warm to those. Those are my go-to ideal kind of palette, although I do love to use all sorts of colours in my scrapbooking, as you're very well aware. But I would definitely say these are the ones that really appeal to me. So I have this whole reel of twine in that colour, and it's always pleasing for me to get use of that on any layout, to be honest. But whilst these are quite cool colours, and by the way, these are this sticker I'm using there, which says "This is me," I think comes from the I Am collection, but I felt that it coordinated quite nicely. And I Am was the collection we first launched with the whole Funkits group, and I still had quite a bit of ephemera left over from that, so I've used it. I think I was talking about colour, and then of course the collection from Amy Tan uses quite a bit of silver, and I went with the Keeper. Although the quirky kits that I have did come with all these black words, and I had thought I might use one that said lovely, I decided to go with the silver Keeper. And I'm really pleased to be using that wooden tag, because I just think that the wood really warms the layout a little bit. Just the gold hearts there as well, that I'm going to be laying down on top of that washi piece from the Amy Tan collection. I'm really pleased to be using gold with as well. Silver and gold, I know that, you know, technically people don't wear that as jewellery together necessarily. I don't really go with the rules. I like silver and gold together, and I like the way that the gold really softens the whole look. I say soften, I mean warms the whole look. It just adds a little bit more, yeah, warmth. What more can I say? As does that lovely bold square that says happy in the middle of it, and then it has a nice kind of yellowy pinky border to it. So I'm really pleased that that's in there, and I just think it looks altogether lovely. So that's my layout. Thanks ever so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again soon for another one. Bye for now.